Tonight on CTV News at 6, commemoration, not celebration.
A recognition of all that we have endured, all that we continue to carry, and all that we are working toward.
Marking the first anniversary of the Jasper disaster.
Some days you feel strong and good, and other days like today, it's emotional.
Alberta called the measles capital of North America.
The highest number of measles cases per capita on the continent.
And the Prince of Darkness has died. Fans salute Ozzy Osbourne and his influence on music.
It's not even debatable that Ozzy and Black Sabbath in general are the godfathers of heavy metal.
Well, the cloud is breaking and the sun is shining through. More of that to come, plus our temperature set to rise. We'll talk weather coming up.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Jasperites are reflecting on a devastating wildfire that forced them to leave their homes 1 year ago today. On that day, 3 wildfires burning south of the town merged, growing thousands of hectares within hours and prompting an evacuation alert. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti has more on how people are feeling on the 1-year anniversary of the fire.
1 year ago, wildfire ripped through Jasper National Park, destroying a third of the Jasper town site and surrounding areas. Just 2 days later, people here still grappling with the loss.
It's just been an interesting year. I guess living here post-fire, it's just changed. Everything's changed, and it'll never be the same.
On Tuesday, dozens gathered to mark the anniversary. More than 25,000 people evacuated the national park overnight, not knowing what they'd come home to.
We went straight through it, and there was ash falling on our brand new car, and I was just freaking out.
The events and pain still fresh in people's minds.
I remember that night so clearly, and even the weather can be so triggering when a thunderstorm comes through or when there's smoke in the sky.
Some days you feel strong and good, and other days like today, it's emotional.
Officials praise the determination and efforts of firefighters to battle the wildfire that grew to over 32,000 hectares. The day is not only a reflection of the past year and what was lost, but a chance to remember and honor wildland firefighter Morgan Kitchen, who was killed by a falling tree in firefight.
Morgan's courage and his sacrifice will never be forgotten.
After the destructive wildfire, some Jasperites chose to leave the town and start a new life elsewhere. However, 1 year later, the majority remain. Some say they stayed for community.
I think I really needed to be around community that's gone through this and understands what we've been through. It's not just about the trauma of the physical fire, it's about the loss of community.
It's been my home. My people are my people. I would feel uncomfortable going to a town that I didn't know anyone.
While the town is still recovering with a long road ahead to rebuilding homes and destroyed businesses, Jasperites remain hopeful the future is bright for the small mountain town. In Jasper, Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News.
An evacuation alert for the town of Slave Lake and the MD of Lesser Slave River has been cancelled. It comes as cool, wet weather helps crews fighting the nearby wildfire. Alberta Wildfire says that fire is about 12 kilometres east of Martin Beach and 20 kilometres north of Slave Lake. As of this morning, crews managed to complete a containment line around the 22-hectare fire.
And so now the next step is we'll to have crews come in and reinforce that containment line by working the hot spots that are on the edges. And what we do is we try to work into 100 meters away from there to ensure that, or to minimize the chance of that fire, getting up to the edge again, and then, given the right conditions, perhaps jumping that line and growing again.
There are 62 wildfires burning across the province. 16 are out of control. Prairie provinces are partnering together. Saskatchewan is joining Alberta in its plan with Ontario to potentially build new energy and trade infrastructure. Premier Danielle Smith says the agreement could see the 3 provinces push energy exports all over the world. Connor Hogg has more.
When it comes to advancing these goals, it's undeniable that there is strength in numbers.
An agreement signed Tuesday morning that Premier Danielle Smith says will open up exports between Alberta and Ontario and now Saskatchewan. The provincial governments will explore potential new pipelines and rail routes between provinces. The premiers announced the agreement the same day they're meeting with the Prime Minister. The agreement does not include the feds, but that could change.
We cannot achieve our shared provincial goals without cooperation from the federal government. Alberta knows this, Saskatchewan knows this, Ontario knows this, and it's time for the federal government to acknowledge it as well.
It is us coming together as provinces, and we would very much hope to work alongside the Prime Minister Carney and his government in changing that.
We need the federal government to fix its broken regulatory environment and streamline approvals.
In a statement to CTV News, the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers says in part that this agreement is a significant step forward in uniting Canada behind a shared vision to bring Canada's energy and resources to new markets. One political analyst says that most can agree interprovincial trade is good. Pipelines are another matter.
It's one thing to say we should increase trade across provinces. It's another thing to say we should build pipelines.
We have a lot positive to do in this country, building this country in a way, building one Canadian economy.
In meetings Tuesday afternoon, Prime Minister Mark Carney says trade talks with the United States are ongoing. He also says premiers have to do what they can to close interprovincial trade barriers.
All the premiers are looking for ways that we can support each other. You're seeing lots of MOUs being drafted and written up. We've got a few things we still need to work through, but I think we're all moving in the right direction.
Smith says this agreement follows Carney's instructions to diversify markets and support fellow provinces. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the long list of names on his by-election ballot is a blatant abuse of democracy. More than 100 candidates, sponsored by the Longest Ballot Committee, are registered to run against Poilievre in the Battle River Crowfoot by-election. Poilievre is seeking a seat in the House of Commons after losing his riding of Carleton in the spring election. The Longest Ballot group also targeted that riding. The advocacy group has flooded other ballots in the past as a way to protest election rules. In a letter to the government House Leader, Poilievre asks the Liberals to pass a law requiring a candidate to get signatures from 0.5% of a riding's population, not just 100 signatures. The Conservatives also want each signature to be exclusive to one candidate and for riding agents to represent one person at a time. An Edmonton police officer has been cleared of wrongdoing after he punched a man multiple times during an arrest 2 years ago. The Alberta Serious Incident Response Team released its report into the altercation in February 2023 today. Video from an apartment building's parking area was used to piece together what happened. ACERT says 7 punches were thrown by the officer in a reasonable action of self-defense after the man attempted to punch the officer first. At the time, Edmonton police said officers were attempting to arrest an 18-year-old for driving erratically. His charges of obstructing and assaulting an officer were withdrawn in 2024. As Alberta approaches the 1,500 total measles cases, the Alberta Medical Association is urging Albertans to protect themselves. They're also calling on the provincial government to do more. Merrick Takash has details.
In some zones right now, basically existing in the zone is considered essentially an exposure.
A group of doctors coming together to express frustration. The provincial government will not declare measles an epidemic in Alberta.
When Alberta's 1,400 cases are larger than the number for the entire United States, and we have 12 times the number of active cases as Texas does per capita, there's no doubt that this is an epidemic.
The latest update saw 18 new cases across the province, bringing the total number since March to 1,472. More than 400 of those in kids under the age of 5.
There's this misconception that measles is a routine illness, a routine childhood illness, and it's not. It's high contagiousness and relatively high rate of complications and hospitalizations make it unique.
This panel, put together by the Alberta Medical Association, is urging Albertans at risk to get immunized.
Getting the vaccine is the best way to protect against getting measles. The measles vaccine is safe and it's effective.
Dr. Lenora Saxinger says kids and pregnant women are most at risk.
Anyone who's at risk should make sure that their inner circle is up to date on their vaccines and have had 2 doses, because that can actually provide protection as well if the people that you most commonly associated with are protected.
The province says suggestions to declare a province-wide outbreak or epidemic do not reflect the current data, as the vast majority of cases remain concentrated outside of Edmonton and Calgary. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
As Canada Post workers vote on the latest contract offer, the head of the union here in Alberta says it doesn't include a lot of new concessions. The Edmonton local represents nearly 3,000 unionized postal workers in Alberta. Members have until August 1st to vote on the offer. Local President James Ball says the newest contract is the same offer as the one given to them 2 years ago. It includes wage hikes of about 13% over 4 years. It also adds part-time workers Canada Post has said are necessary to keep the postal service alive.
I predict that we're going to lose all sorts of full-time jobs based off of the changes they want in the short term. In the long term, it's basically going to turn our jobs to gig work.
Postal workers went on strike last November for about a month until they were ordered back to work. Ball says the goal is to avoid a strike this time round. A Canada Post spokesperson said the Crown Corporation had operating losses amounting to $10 million a day through June. Borden Natural Pool opened today for the first time this season after being delayed twice. It was originally supposed to open in June until a small leak was found in one of the basins that helps with pool filtration. As a natural pool, no chemicals are used to clean the water.
We're using natural filters instead of chemicals like chlorine, like your other facilities would have. So water is filtered through plants and zooplankton, so it's pretty much like a very clean lake.
The city is reminding people that because Borden is a natural pool, when the weather is cooler, the water is also cooler. A man who's trying to break a world record while raising money for charity continues to make the rounds.
It was like sleeping on the edge of a really rocky cliff. I'll be honest with you. I didn't get much sleep.
Chris Sheets has been riding this Ferris wheel at K-Days since yesterday morning. He tried to get some sleep when the ride stopped at 11 last night, but city noise and sirens kept him up. His goal is to keep riding for a total of 54 hours. He's permitted a 5-minute bathroom break each hour. So far, Sheets says he's raised more than $36,000 for Alberta Dreams. The foundation helps fulfill the wishes of sick kids.
The children we're trying to help, their lives are uncomfortable every day of the year. So if I can make a difference in their lives and have a little fun along the way, I'm not kidding you, this is a little fun for me. And my riders, I mean, they love it too. It's all worth it.
Sheets says he won't leave the Ferris wheel for good until Wednesday evening at 5. He's estimating he'll round the Ferris wheel 1,300 times over 54 hours. Fans are paying tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. The legendary singer died this morning. Known as the godfather of metal, Osbourne inspired a generation of musicians and music fans. Nirman Issa has local reaction.
Earlier this month, Ozzy Osbourne performed with Black Sabbath for a big reunion show. It would be their last. Ozzy Osbourne died Tuesday morning. Nicknamed the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne had major hits spanning decades with both Black Sabbath and as a solo artist. His death is being felt all across the music world.
The Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, dead at the age of 76.
Jess Jackson with 100.3 The Bear says she was emotional when breaking the news to their listeners.
You know, you ask any heavy metal band or hard rock band now who inspired them, they're going to say Ozzy Osbourne or Black Sabbath.
Osbourne played in Edmonton a handful of times.
I got to see him back at Rexall Place, and that will forever be, you know, one of my most treasured memories. And I think a lot of people that traveled from near and far to see him were lucky enough to see him in Edmonton.
Superfan Travis Cura says Ozzy made him a metal fan. He says his parents wouldn't let him listen to the music, so he had to sneak around.
As soon as I turned 18, one of the first things I did when I graduated high school was travel to Seattle to go to Ozfest. And that was my very first Ozzy live experience. And it's something that I'll never forget.
The Starlight Room has hosted hundreds of metal shows, including several Sabbath tribute bands.
It's just one of those staple bands that's always going to exist. We'll probably have a tribute. We'll probably be playing some music loud even tonight. I mean, it's Black Sabbath legacy, and Ozzy's legacy will continue on forever.
Ozzy's family issued a statement saying he died with his family by his side. He was 76 years old. Naramisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, Corey, another cooler day today.
Yeah, the good thing is we'll be a little bit warmer tomorrow. So we've gained a little bit today, we'll gain a little bit more tomorrow, and we'll be back in the 20s. But it was a bit of a cool day today. Our warmest temperature, we finally reached that at 4 o'clock at 18 degrees. Right now we are sitting at 16, so we've lost a couple in the last hour. Wind fairly light. We are seeing some breaks in the cloud. As we take a look at the almanac for today, our high was 18. Average seasonal high 24. We'll be closer to that tomorrow. Record value is 35. Last year on this day, we were at 34. As we take a look at the calendar, 18 for today, so that brought our days below seasonal to 7. We have 7 above seasonal and 8 right around. As we take a look at our forecast for tonight, we'll see a little bit more clearing. 17 around 9 o'clock, midnight 13, and we'll start off tomorrow morning around 9 with a chance of fog in the morning. We'll see a little bit more cloud as we get into the afternoon. Our high for tomorrow is 23. Late afternoon, a slight chance of scattered showers, possibly some thunderstorms, a better chance southwest of the city. So pretty slight at this point. Just keep an eye on the sky. As we take a look at Thursday, a little bit warmer, 26 for a high, and a better chance of seeing some thunderstorms into the afternoon with a mix of sun and cloud. For Friday, 23, a nice mix of sun and cloud, and then it's the weekend. And I have your weekend forecast details coming up next time we chat weather.
All right, thank you, Corey. Stay with us. Coming up, flood fatigue.
Little bit depressed because the weather's no sun.
Relentless rain in parts of the province putting a damper on summer fun. Also next.
We normally don't perform outdoors. We perform in very controlled settings.
Bringing ballet to the Badlands for a one-of-a-kind show.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Heavy rain shut down a major thoroughfare in Calgary this morning. And while the rain may be good for the trees and the grass, many Calgarians are feeling fatigued by the weather. Alicia Fieldberg reports.
Relentless rain turning parks into ponds and shutting down roads aren't the summery scenes many Calgarians hope for.
Little bit depressed because the weather's no sun.
I prefer a summery summer, a sunny summer.
It's not a summer at all. I wish it will be warm.
Overnight rain caused flooding, closing a southwest section of Stony Trail during the morning rush. The city of Calgary says the storm also broke pavement along Glenmore near Crowchild, and crews had to block off the area for hours after several vehicles got damaged in the rain-filled rut.
The cost would at least be $1,800, if not more. This would involve a tire change, a wheel change, and a wheel alignment.
The rain is putting a damper on outdoor sports as well.
3,000 kids had their final play day canceled due to a massive storm that rolled in at the end of June. So it's been a season-long problem.
Calgary Minor Soccer Association has had to reschedule roughly 400 games, about 10% of the season. With the season closing soon, some of those makeup games won't happen after a record year of weather-related impacts.
Last year we had 220 games that had to be rescheduled, and the majority of those were due to smoke, if you remember last year. This year it's double, and it's all down to rain predominantly.
And puddles don't inspire paddles either. A hot May and early June helped lazy day raft rentals at the start of the season.
Up until July 1st, we were on target for setting a record year. However, since July 1st hit, the rain started to come, and we're down about 30% year over year, July 1st to now.
Rain shut down the business 11 days this season, which is tough for employees and company profits. But some see a silver lining in the storm clouds.
Well, the last few years has been really dry, so I think the water and for the Bow watershed is absolutely important. The rain is bad for business, but overall for the community, the river is important and the rain is great.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
A Canadian team passionate about hail and the storms that produce it are teaching Albertans about severe weather. The Northern Hail Project hosted a free event at TELUS Sparks Science Centre in Calgary today. Participants got to learn about atmospheric science and conducting field research. Hail recovery equipment and 3D printed models of recovered hailstones were also on display. The group has been focusing much of its work in the Calgary area lately, as it is prone to severe hail events.
The hailstorm we had last week, we were in the city for 3 days doing a post-storm assessment and forensic damage survey. Fortunately, it was much less intense than 2024, but still, you know, the people who are affected, it's hard for them to see it that way, right?
The group is also looking to recruit more hail reporters to help with data gathering. Alberta Parks wildlife experts are reminding people to be aware as bears continue to be very active across the province. It comes after several bear sightings, including a Calgary couple who had a run-in over the weekend. On a hike to Troll Falls in Kananaskis country, the pair were followed by a grizzly along the trail.
Right now, we've got, like I said, a lot of bears in the Kananaskis Valley. So anywhere you go, you can encounter a bear. Just as a rough count of between reports and some of our collared bears, you know, I believe there was as many as, including cubs, 22 grizzly bears.
There are currently 7 bear warnings and closures in K Country. Ballet dancers south of Edmonton are keeping a close eye on the weather forecast. While they're rehearsing inside, Alberta Ballet performers are preparing for a one-night-only showcase of Don Quixote Act 3. They'll be dancing outside this Friday at the Badlands Amphitheatre in Drumheller.
We normally don't perform outdoors. We perform in very controlled settings. So this is definitely a factor that we are not used to, but something that I think excites us a lot.
The amphitheater has enough seating for 2,500 people. Tickets for ballet in the Badlands are available online or day of at the venue gate. Coming up, preserving public art.
Then we cover on top of that to bring it close to what was the original one.
We'll look at the process of restoring the statues that stand around the city.
We need the fresh air and being able to get around in the outside.
And a growing trend in our province allowing seniors to enjoy the benefits of cycling.
Well, the clearing was slow and limited today, which really did impede our warm-up. But the good thing is, as we go throughout tomorrow, we'll be a little bit warmer. And as we look outside right now, it's a mix of sun and cloud as we head into the early part of the evening. I have your 5-day forecast coming up after break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Basement Systems Edmonton. Contact us today for all things basement-y.
Art installations can help make public spaces more vibrant, but what happens when those pieces show signs of wear and tear or vandalism? Now, Manisa has more on the work done behind the scenes to prolong the life of public art.
It was removed from display about a month ago, and we'll be going back within the next month or two.
A handful of public art pieces in Edmonton are waiting to be repaired.
Well, this piece was installed about 12 years ago in Belgravia Park. And it was bright and colorful at that time, but because it was exposed, it had southern exposure to the sun, full exposure actually, it faded quite quickly.
The Edmonton Arts Council takes care of our city's public art. If the work can't be done on site, it's brought to the warehouse. They work on the piece with the original artist if possible. If that's not an option, they turn to a helping hand.
So the thing is that I didn't want to use my own hand, but the thing is that I'm not a sculptor.
Mitra Saidi is a public art conservator. Her role is to assess the situation, develop a restoration plan, and carry out the work. Sometimes she has to get creative. The statue was missing its arm. She used a cast of her own arm and hand for its base.
We cover on top of that to bring it close to what was the original one.
She's working on a vision of hope, which needs a lot of repairs.
This hand is like this. And we had one of the pieces at the side that we could find it. And it will be placed here.
The outdoor pieces see a lot of wear and tear due to the weather, human touch, or vandalism. Sometimes they need new body parts. Others just need the exterior refinished.
We'll be doing some what we call a hot wax treatment on it, where we clean it, hit it with a torch and some wax, and that will protect the patina.
The goal is to get the statues back in their original locations as soon as possible, so it can stand or sit proudly in its true home. Nair Misa, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, so I'd like to ask Corey, what's the weather story today? What should we talk about? And did I hear you correctly? You said frost?
Yeah, not for us.
Not here, though.
But there is a frost advisory in place for some areas southwest of us.
Okay.
Yeah, so some overnight chill will be felt throughout the province. Right now, you are taking a live look through the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace fixed right or it's free. 16 degrees right now. We topped out at 18, and we've lost a couple over the last hour. We are seeing a mix of sun and cloud as we head throughout the early part of the evening. Temperatures across the province, the warmth is in the north. We're starting to tap into that, more so tomorrow. 19 Slave Lake, 21 Grand Prairie, 21 Peace River. High level, quite nice at 24, but chilly in the south. Calgary sitting at 10, Red Deer at 12, and those areas are going to be quite chilly overnight. Now, the areas in purple, that's where the frost advisory is. So south of Edson, west of Drain Valley, kind of along the Rockies, Rocky Mountain House included in this, and then Olds as well as Airdrie. So overnight lows right around the freezing mark. New plants or plants that are susceptible to frost, you may want to cover up in those areas. For us here in Edmonton, it'll be chilly overnight, but not that cold. As we take a look at the satellite radar right now, a lot of clearing in the north. To the south, we're starting to see the cloud push further south, and with it take the showers as well. Still seeing some light showers around Red Deer, Stettler, and approaching Wainwright. Those are moving off and kind of petering themselves out as they do so. But in behind there, we are going to start to clear out. We see that on the Futurecast, clearing as we go throughout the early morning hours, and that'll allow our temperatures to really drop off, especially in those areas where there isn't a lot of warmth already. As we take a look at the morning lows, 8 Peace River, 9 Grand Prairie, 7 Jasper, 4 in Banff, 4 in Red Deer, so quite chilly in some areas. We'll be anywhere from about 6 to 8 degrees here in the city. For tomorrow, still the warmer temperatures are in the north. Fort McMurray, 24, high level 25, in the lower 20s the further south you go. Calgary rebounding 22, Lethbridge and Medicine Hat also rebounding 24 and 23. For us here in Edmonton, tonight about 12 degrees, fairly clear overnight. For us, maybe not a risk of frost, but we could see some fog in the morning. 7 degrees to start off, and then 23 for a high tomorrow, with a slight chance of scattered showers into the afternoon. Pretty slight at this point. As we get into Thursday, a better chance that we could see some showers, possibly some thunderstorms as we go throughout the afternoon, at about a 60% chance. So Thursday afternoon will be the day to watch. 26 for a high, so warmer. 23 on Friday. There's your weekend. 20 and 23 for Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures just below average seasonal high. A little drier, though, than the last weekend that we just had. As we take a look at the extended forecast, as we get set to end off July and welcome in August, temperatures climb as we go throughout next week into the high 20s, and then possibly around 30 for Wednesday and Thursday, with a bit of a drop for August 1st and a chance of some scattered showers. Again, for tomorrow, slight chance we could see some fog in the morning, and then we get to a mix of sun and cloud. 23 for a high. Jeff.
Thanks, Corey. A different type of cycling is growing in popularity in our province. It's allowing seniors and people with mobility challenges to enjoy the benefits of bike rides. CTV's Kevin Fleming has more from High River.
The weather isn't ideal, but it's not stopping Edie Simonton and Dolores Rayburn from heading out on a ride. The two are covered up and protected from the rain, while Claude Laflamme pilots the trishaw.
We need the fresh air and being able to get around in the outside, because you're inside all the time.
The two are out for a short half-hour ride, but can go for an hour on a sunny day.
What does it feel like? Freedom. Yeah, like you're doing it yourself.
Laflamme has volunteered piloting the trishaw for over a year and enjoys riding around High River because it's flat and there's a beautiful trail system.
Also, there's a wonderful downtown, and we cycle. We can stop for coffee, stop for ice cream, lemonade stands. So we have a wonderful time.
The Cycling Without Age program is a hit at Seasons High River and its 180 residents.
So every Tuesday, they provide rides for us at 2 p.m. and we have 4 people
people that get to go on that wonderful ride, and we're all the way booked up until mid-August, so it's very special.
The town of High River purchased 2 bikes in 2017 and started slow with 3 trained pilots. Now it has 11 volunteer pilots with others signed up and training, and that means more rides for residents.
With the goal of just reconnecting our seniors and people with different levels of accessibility back to their community and back to nature, and just getting them out and enjoying the wind in their hair.
LaFlamme enjoys riding the electric assist bike and sharing stories with passengers. He's hopeful to take advantage of the program when he needs it. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, High River.
Stay with us. Up next, War of Words.
If you're a mean and nasty Canadian for standing up for our sovereignty and our economy and our jobs, well, I think most Canadians would be proud to be considered mean and nasty.
Canadian leaders push back against Donald Trump and his ambassador's latest criticism of our country. Also next.
We've had challenges getting crews out to areas of the fire where we would need access through helicopter.
Manitoba is dealing with smoke as it tries to fight about a quarter of the nation's wildfires.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Federated Co-ops. Find your summer sweepstakes. Unlock your chances to win at your local co-op.
Well, U.S. President Donald Trump calls Canadians mean and nasty for boycotting U.S. products. The U.S. ambassador to Canada is adding his own criticism. CTV's Abigail Beeman has details of new audio released of a recent summit speech.
As well, there are reasons why the president and some of his team refer to Canada as being mean and nasty to deal with.
Speaking at the Pacific Northwest Economic Region Summit Monday, U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra offered these examples.
Canadians staying home, that's their business. I don't like it, but if that's what they want to do, it's fine. If you want to ban American alcohol, that's fine. It doesn't necessarily send real positive signals in terms of they're treating us well.
Then offered a line that got a laugh about his own cross-border business.
I can get alcohol across the border if I wanted to, because we go back and forth to Michigan and they don't check my car when I come back. Okay?
If you're a mean and nasty Canadian for standing up for our sovereignty and our economy and our jobs, well, I think most Canadians would be proud to be considered mean and nasty.
The audio was received by and released from BC's Premier's office. David Eby is calling on Canadians to keep it up, keep buying Canadian and vacationing in Canada.
I think it's interesting that Americans have a hard time understanding why Canadians are so angry at their president's suggestion that our sovereignty is at risk.
I'm pretty shocked. I find it very ironic. President Trump is calling us mean.
One former Canadian ambassador to the U.S. says the pot is calling the kettle black.
Leave the ambassador out of it. The president says this over and over again. He's constantly calling us nasty and terrible negotiators and everything else. The United States is one of the most protectionist companies in the world.
Frank McKenna stressed the overall positivity and optimism from Ambassador Hoekstra. So too did the U.S. Embassy, telling CTV News in a statement the ambassador spoke for nearly an hour and emphasized his optimism about the future of the Canada-U.S. relationship. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
A top official with the U.S. Justice Department will meet with Ghislaine Maxwell. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says her deputy will meet with the longtime associate of Jeffrey Epstein in the coming days. Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison in 2022 for her role in a scheme to sexually exploit and abuse multiple girls with Epstein over a decade. The Deputy Attorney General says he has communicated with Maxwell's counsel about a possible meeting. He says if Maxwell has information about anyone who has committed crimes against victims, the FBI and DOJ will hear what she has to say. More than 500 wildfires are burning across Canada. Almost a quarter of those are in Manitoba. While that province has made progress fighting the fires, the thick smoke is getting in the way.
We've had challenges getting crews out to areas of the fire where we would need access through helicopter, as well as just being able to bucket using a helicopter. It has been limited by smoke as well.
Hot, dry conditions over the weekend fueled the flames as some 13,000 people remain under evacuation order. Officials say the wildfire risk remains high to very high in eastern and northern Manitoba, with some areas in extreme danger. Meantime, more than 40 wildfires continue to burn in Saskatchewan. While several parts of the province saw rain, even significant flooding, officials say it missed critical fire zones. Firefighters from Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick are on the ground to lend a hand, as well as some international aid from Australia and Mexico. A royal birthday is being celebrated today. Prince George turns 12. Prince and Princess of Wales marked the occasion by sharing new pictures in this short video of George with his younger siblings. It's unknown if George will now have to follow royal protocol put in place when his father William turned 12. At that time, he and his father no longer traveled together as a precaution to protect the future of the monarchy. Still ahead, cold case closed.
You know, it always still brings a tear to everyone's eye.
How a nonprofit group of divers is bringing closure to families sometimes decades later. Also next, horsing around now encouraged at a major Canadian airport. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 73 cents to the American dollar. Oil lost 64 cents, ending the day at $65.31 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained $37.30 on the day. The TSX and Dow Jones both closed higher, up 47 points and 179 points, respectively. General Motors says Donald Trump's tariffs have taken over $1 billion out of its recent earnings. GM's second quarter core profit fell by 32%. The company says earnings dropped despite strong sales in the first half of the year. Automakers saw a surge in demand this spring from customers who wanted to beat the tariffs. The news from GM comes a day after Stellantis reported nearly $500 million in losses.
All of the major manufacturers are reporting major losses and tariff-related costs this year.
GM says it expects the tariffs to hit harder in the third quarter, leading to a $4 or $5 billion loss. After nearly 40 years, a missing persons case in Quebec has been solved. It took a group of divers, part of a non-profit organization, less than an hour to do it. CTV's Sweeta Rassi reports.
The family of Robert St. Louis is watching as his Jeep Cherokee will soon get pulled out of the Mille-Île River into Montagne.
We're able to confirm that the vehicle that is down the river is linked to the missing investigation.
The Laval man who was in his 40s went missing in 1988. Police say they found remains inside his car.
Some remains have been removed. We still have to send them to the lab to have them tested for DNA and make sure it match.
American diver William McIntosh from Exploring with the Mission says he was contacted by St. Louis' daughter a few days ago. She wanted help finding her father, who disappeared without a trace. McIntosh and his team gathered as much information as they could. He knew that St. Louis couldn't have gone far.
He had no gas in the car. He had no key for the gas tank. He had no money in his pocket.
Using sonar, the team searched the river near his house.
35 minutes of searching all the way down to the thing, came around the corner, 5 minutes, and then within 5 minutes we picked it up.
What they picked up were images of his car, submerged underwater. A 37-year-old cold case solved in less than an hour.
You know, it always still brings a tear to everyone's eye.
The group also solved another cold case 10 days ago in another region of Quebec using the same technique. Advocate Stéphane Luce has been following the case closely.
There's something to learn, like reading the ultrasounds is something that is very important.
But for investigators, the work doesn't end there. Police have uncovered around 10 cars in the area.
We're going to go one by one and take them out of the river and try to find out if we can link them to anything.
As for the case of St. Louis, police say there are no signs of foul play. But for the family, they now have some closure. The question they had for nearly 40 years has finally been answered. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News.
The Toronto Raptors will kick off their preseason in our province. Canada's only NBA team will hold training camp from September 30th to October 3rd at the University of Calgary. The majority of the sessions will be closed to the public. The team will have an open practice on the last day. The Raptors came to Edmonton in 2022 for a preseason game. The Raps will play a preseason game October 6th in Vancouver against the Denver Nuggets. Anyone traveling through Vancouver this summer will have a new option to help reduce their travel stress. The Vancouver International Airport is bringing in some pint-sized ponies for its animal therapy team. Magic and Tinkerbell are a pair of miniature therapy ponies. The airport says it's the first in Canada to add ponies as part of its Less Airport Stress initiative. The ponies will join ambassador dogs from St. John Ambulance on a trial basis. The animals offer emotional support and a calming presence to passengers. Coming up, a big adventure for a small hiker.
He always wants to push boundaries and is very outdoor person.
So you did it all the way to the top?
Yes.
How a 3-year-old ended up at the top of one of Vancouver's most challenging climbs.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
The nearly 3-kilometer Vancouver Grouse Grind is a hike straight up a mountain that can challenge even the fittest hikers. Now, one family is marveling at how their 3-year-old exceeded expectations as they took on the journey. CTV's Shannon Patterson reports.
Look at this.
3-year-old Valuvan Wesley is an energetic, determined little boy.
Whoa.
He always wants to push boundaries and is very outdoor person.
On the weekend, his parents decided to introduce their son to one of their favorite hikes, the Grouse Grind.
This Sunday, we just thought we'd just head up, doing 25% of the ground, like 1/4, and then bring him back.
But Valuvan didn't want to stop at the quarter mark, so the family kept climbing.
Look, we thought, okay, let's go to the half mark and check, and then probably we'll come back. By the time he's half mark, he didn't even want to sit. I was so astonished seeing that.
Do you want to go up or go down?
Go up. Okay.
Go up, but it's very, very difficult.
As they continued up, other hikers started to take notice.
So a lot of people were very impressed, and yeah, they were all stopping by, giving them high fives.
He saw people coming in, and everybody was motivating him as well. Oh my God, good job, go ahead. And he's like, oh yeah, let's go, let's go. Yeah. Good job, boys.
It took a little over 2 hours, but Valuvan climbed all 2,830 steps to complete the Grouse Grind.
He pushed himself, and then we just actually tagged along with him.
So you did it all the way to the top?
Yes.
What was that like?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
You could do it again?
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience. I couldn't describe it. We were so proud as parents.
While they know not every 3-year-old is cut out for the grind.
One thing I would say is trust your kid. Trust your kid on try to explore options, what you have not done.
We think that kids are, they can't do much, but that's not true. They are very resilient, they are very focused, and they can push their limits.
Valuvan turns 4 next month and wants to keep climbing.
I think our aim is to do Garibaldi at some point, but again, we want to take him in his own pace, see how he does.
His parents believe if you don't have preconceived notions of what a child can do,
you never know something amazing will turn out like this.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News, North Vancouver.
Maybe some decent weather to get outside and explore tomorrow. A little bit chilly in the morning, starting off at 7. We could see some fog in the morning. And then a mix of sun and cloud, 23 for a high. Slight chance of afternoon showers. Better chance of showers, possibly thunderstorms Thursday with a high of 26 and then 23 on Friday. And as far as the weekend, not bad. A little bit drier than the last one we had, and temperatures 20 and 23 for Saturday and Sunday.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you, Corey, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, visit ctvnewsedmonton.ca or CTV channel on YouTube.